Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to autumn. It's actually really warm. It's had 2 weeks of torrential rain, so we had the summer, which was hotter than balls and dry, just super dry. We had no rain whatsoever. Everyone was just like, oh, the reservoirs, they're turning into parchment. They're so dry. If I licked them, my tongue would fall off. The reservoirs. But then September happened and we had 2 weeks of torrential rain. So torrential you couldn't even see out of the car sometimes. And I'm just like, that's not good. So yeah, I need to go get some fuel because I've been doing a bit of driving around, and I'm just like, you know what, let's take the cameras out for a little bit of a drive. We could take a slightly different route. I mean, all routes lead to Penzance, which is a thing. So it's good. But I was thinking about the channel. I was thinking about the channel and the videos we do, and I was like, oh, you know, some of these videos are super easy to record and some of them are super hard. So why don't we talk about that? Like, I go out and do a vlog and I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Oh no, I'm going to run out of stuff. And it's like, no, give it a week and you get more topics to talk about. So yeah, I was like, that's something we could talk about. But first, how is everyone? I mean, blah. How are you guys? Just went over a level crossing. Yeah, like sometimes you see names appear in, I want to call it chat, but it's the comments underneath the videos. And sometimes people comment with great frequency, and sometimes they just disappear for a bit, and you're like, oh, I hope they're okay. I mean, I understand the way that it works. There is no obligation to watch any of the videos on the channel. I mean, you're just listening to me and my voice for most of it. There is no obligation to stick around. There's not even an obligation to subscribe. There is no contract between you and I. But with a small channel, and it is a small channel, and people have said, oh, your channel's quite small. I'm like, yeah. It would be nice if it was bigger, but it does mean it's a little bit more intimate. And when people do comment, I do take the time to reply, which is good. So that's a fun little thing. It does mean that I can basically reply to everyone. And if someone does leave a bit of a spam link or comment or whatever, I can just get rid of it quite easily, because we don't have the frequency of posts that everyone else has. So I think if we go this way, we can loop back round and join up with the normal route later on. So let's do that. We haven't been down here, not on a vlog, I don't believe. So yeah, if someone doesn't comment for a bit, you're just like, yeah, I hope they're all right. I mean, it might just be that people go on holiday or get bored of watching the same thing over and over. It's no obligation, you know. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about, and cool, hope you guys are in fact all right, is the difficulty or the ease in which certain videos are made. So I was like, why don't we break it down? Why don't we have the easiest video to make on the channel, the hardest video to make on the channel, the most technical video to make on the channel? That might provide some interesting topic of discussion. So if you're new to these and this is your first video, this is the gaming channel, as much as I hate to admit it. And I do play a lot of video games, and it's kind of like being on a couch. Everyone's on a couch watching me play a video game and we're just chatting away. That's the channel, essentially. So, oh yeah, no, I've been down here because that house right ahead is lovely. Lovely. Oh man, if only. So yeah, it's a video gaming channel. I play a lot of video games, and one of the video games I play is called Stranded Deep, where we're in the Pacific. We're on an island in the Pacific, and we make a raft, and we go to other islands, and we gather resources, and we survive. We build little houses, we drink from coconuts, all that sort of stuff. I've been playing that game for 6 years. 6.5 years, and honestly, yeah, I find it fairly easy to play because I know what I'm doing. There's not much of a surprise. I mean, there still are surprises in the game, and sometimes things just go wildly out of control. But yeah, if I need to record something fairly quickly, or you know, I'm out of time, Stranded Deep, straight to the rescue. The editing is also fairly easy, so I'm never like stressed when it comes to editing. most of it, and a lot of people, when they say, oh, video game channels, you don't do much editing, you just hit record. And I'm like, well, no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Yes, you hit record, but then there are hidden cuts here and there. So when we go to sleep, I get rid of the loading between sleeps. So anytime there's a load, or like the game's loading something, I always cut that out. A little crash cut, usually. Audio, I always manually level the audio. So if we're playing normally, then the game audio is lower than the voice audio. But if something happens in game and it's super loud, like a thunderstorm or something, then what I tend to do is get rid of, lower the audio specifically for the time the thunderstorm is on. So, but otherwise, Stranded Deep, probably the easiest thing on the channel that I make. There are a few cutaways that we do. There's like an internal meme currently where what we do is, actually, I think a need leads down. Oh, let's go this way. Oh, didn't want to do that. Yeah, well, there's no one on this road, so whatever. Oh Christ, where are we now? We're in the Shire. Yeah, so there's a little internal meme where we've been jumping into a lake, and the lake has, every time we jump into the lake, as soon as we hit the water, we crash cut into something else. Sometimes it's another video game, sometimes it's a film. We've had like a few seconds of Hackers from 1995. Sometimes it's been some anime. We've done, I think the last one was Darling in the Franxx. We've also done Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. That was the one with the big dragon. Oh, we had Danganronpa as well. That was fun. Just a little bit of Danganronpa. Just a few seconds, and then you come out of the water and it's a crash cut back into the game. So yeah, but it's still fairly easy to do. The hardest game to record is definitely War Thunder, because it's an MMO. Most of the games we play single player. War Thunder is an MMO, so a massively multiplayer online game. It's not an RPG. We're driving tanks and we go into battles with 31 other people. So with us, it's 32 people. And you can never predict what's going to happen. So what I try to do is record 3 matches, an intro and an outro. So that's 8 files, 4 audio files, 4 video files. So the 3 games and the intro and outro is recorded as 1 file. The thing is, thing is, you can never predict. So you might go in and just steamroll the other team, and the match is over in 2 minutes. That's not going to make an interesting video to watch. Sometimes you go in and your team gets absolutely annihilated, and that's not going to make an interesting video to watch. So you have to play several matches, like 15, 16 matches, before you get anything that you can consider worth putting in a video. And then you might record a little bit more, a few more matches, a few more rounds of this online team game. And I'm just like, all right, well, sure. I'm a little bit lost here, actually. Ooh, this coming up here. So yeah, War Thunder, definitely the most, the difficult one. Praise and Beevil or Helston. I don't want to go to Helston. I'm going to go this way. This is the Helston Road, though. Oh no, I know exactly where we are. We would have, if we stayed on the previous road, we'd have come out like half a mile behind us. So this is fine. This is fine. You'll recognise where we are in a moment. So yeah, definitely anytime when you get a buttload of people on, here we go, back on the same circuit. Anytime you get a buttload of people in a match on a multiplayer game, it suddenly becomes a whole heck of a lot harder to record. The most technical video, so the easiest one is Stranded Deep, the hardest one is War Thunder, the most technical video is the one we're doing now. I have 2 cameras. I have a GoPro Hero 3. I don't know if it's the Hero 3 Black or just the regular Hero 3. It's still quite an old camera now. It was bought specifically to go on a drone. We have the Insta-1X 360 degree camera, which is the main camera. That's the one that sits on the window. And the reason it moves slightly is because stabilization has basically gyro data. So as the car moves around, the stabilization is reading off the gyro data, and it's assuming that it's sort of sat still. like someone's holding it, not that it's actually inside a vehicle. So it gives you the impression of someone hand holding the camera, sat in the passenger seat. It's kind of a cool way that it all works out. We have a Zoom H1 handy recorder, which is recording the audio, which is a chocolate bar recorder. So the Zoom H1 is one that I've had for ages. We have a lav mic, a lavalier mic. This is the lavalier mic that the thing fell off of, and it sort of all fell apart that time. I found the top of it. It was over in the passenger side, just the passenger footwell. It turns out the top is actually a screw cap, and yeah, the screw cap just kind of ended up coming off. I was like, oh, weird. So I just screwed it back together and it works. So that's nice. And then you've got the driving, of course. Whatever I'm doing recording wise and talking and everything, I always have to make sure that driving is prioritized, because if I messed it up, not only would we crash, but our crash would be fully recorded in 360 degrees. And I just don't want that. And also really like this car, so. And I like myself as well. I don't want myself to suddenly become the victim of an accident because I was recording a video. But yeah, definitely the most technical one to do. Not the hardest though, that's still War Thunder. Just because it is. I suppose a special mention needs to go out. So just to recap, easiest, Stranded Deep. Hardest, War Thunder. Most technical, the vlog. But a special mention has to go out to... special mention has to go out to Dungeons and Dragons. So we did about 30 episodes of D&D way back when. In fact, it was during the lockdown. So we did that. It wasn't really getting many views, but it was huge amounts of work. So I had to pre-plan the games because it was pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons. We had a Discord link open so I could see all the players. So I could see Nick and Alex and James and Chantal. We had my computer was in Discord, so they could see my screen. We eventually started doing maps in Photoshop because I'd looked at things like Roll20, and I need to be shown how to do stuff. I can't just be told how to do it. Someone actually needs to physically show me. And the thing is, I can do Photoshop a lot easier than I can do most other things, so we just ended up doing it in that. Yeah, so I pre-planned. I would also make maps in Dungeon Draft, which is dungeon creation software. It's like a really simple dungeon creation software, but it gives you really like pretty results. So a massive shout out to Dungeon Draft. Yeah, but you'd have to pre-plan it, and then you'd have to do the recording, and then I would have to edit it, and the edit was so hard. The edit was so hard. Because everyone was on different microphones. So I think most people were on a condenser microphone. Chantal and James were in the same room, so if Chantal had a mic keyed, you could hear everything that James was saying, plus everything that anyone else was saying, because she has a headset mic. So I think the foam cups on her headset are a bit worn, and so you were picking up like a loop of audio. So the first thing I would do is put everyone into Audacity, and then I would find Chantal's, because I record them all as individual tracks, find Chantal's track and then just clean up all of the echo and all of the audio that shouldn't have been there. So like James laughing in the background, or someone dropping a pen or something on the desk. All of that had to be cleaned up for her track. And then I would go into James's track, because he would keep his microphone keyed after he'd said something, and then you would get more noise in the background because there's two people in the room. In fact, at one point, he had, I think it was before he moved location in the room, he had a switch, an IPX switch, no, not IPX, a TCP/IP switch. So basically a multi-port hub behind him, but it had some 40mm fans in it that were just like, you get fan oscillation noise. So I'd have to clean that out of his audio specifically. That was a pain in my ass. And then I would go through, once all the audio was clean, I would put it into Premiere, and I would take the two shots, the one from the GoPro, which was the wide shot of the room, and then the one from a camcorder, a Canon camcorder, with a wide-angle adapter that was on top of my monitor. The trouble is, I didn't have that much in the way of studio lights, so I could never give myself enough lighting. I either looked like completely blown out or very red because the lighting in the room just wasn't strong enough. And it's just a cost thing. I just couldn't afford to buy better lighting. You just don't when you don't have that much in the way of munds. So I would struggle with that. I ended up creating like a lumetri, a specific lumetri curve for the camcorder footage because it was the only way I can make it look good. So for the first 12 videos, if you watch the first 12 videos of Dungeons and Dragons, oh cool, he's waving us past. Cool. So yeah, that lad just waved us past. Nice, good. Yeah, so if you watch the first 12 videos of Dungeons and Dragons, the colour changes in each video as I'm just kind of struggling with it. I think I updated Premiere at some point and got the lumetri curves. And curves are what I use in Photoshop for colour correction and highlight and shadow correction. So it's something I already know how to use. But yeah, that was an awful lot of work. And then you might get 10 views on it, and I'm just like, God damn! I have actually thought about doing it again, going back and doing not Dungeons and Dragons, but Cybernet, OGL Cybernet, because it's a lot easier. With D&D, everyone had their own rule books. One of the things that I would end up cutting out was because Alex and Nick aren't familiar with the rules, and Chantal wasn't really either. But James is like one of those rule book. He would just like munch through rule books. So James would just be like, "Oh yes, I know all this and that and everything," and that was actually kind of helpful. If you were like, "Oh, how much does 30 foot of rope cost?" And James is like, "It's on this page." I'm like, "Cool, that's brilliant." But then like Nick or Alex might have a character and they're like, "Oh, I need to do this. How do I do it?" And he was like, "Well, I'm not familiar with this character, this character combination." And then we'd end up going through the rule books and I'd have to cut out like a few minutes of footage. And that's why you have two cameras. You always cut from one to the other. And when you cut from one camera to the other, you cut out that time of dead air where everyone's just kind of like discussing stuff or just like trying to find what rule is what. With Cybernet, it would be slightly different because there is only one rule book. I have it. I don't even know if it's printed anymore. And a lot of the rules that we use are custom. So it's a huge custom game. So I've got rules for fast hacking, for fast upgrades, and literally rules that were printed out years ago. So there's only one copy of them on the planet. But it makes it so much easier if I can just say, roll this and I'll tell you what happens. So it makes it easier for everyone else and it makes the game faster as well. But also I think it would be something that I would stream and just put the VODs on YouTube, because then I can use an Elgato Stream Deck just to flick between scenes and you just get what you get. If there's a bunch of like downtime or dead air, that's what you get. But that would be way off in the future because of work, because of light cost. I mean, I still need to get lights to light a ginormous an Edwardian living room, huge high ceilings. So, I mean, it's not even relatively close. But having the experience from doing D&D, I now know what you can do and what you can't do. But it's still a huge thing to undertake by yourself. I mean, I was the dungeon master, the editor, the sound guy, had to do all the artwork. I mean, the background artwork for the videos changed sort of halfway through because I just didn't think the green and blue was working. So I changed it to a rock texture with like fire, like sparks and things, and I thought, yeah, that looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. Don't know why I hit the indicator there. So that's that, those three. All these flags are at half mast. I don't know if you've noticed that we've been driving around, all the flags are at half mast. That one is as well. So yeah, just to recap. Easiest video to do, Stranded Deep. Hardest video to do, War Thunder. Most technical, the vlog. Special shout out to Dungeons and Dragons as being a huge pain in the ass. And oh yeah, Alice Madness Returns. That has been a particular. I've been doing that recently. A particular pain in the butt because it's got a loading bug. So sometimes you don't get a video for a week. It's either because something's happened in the real world or the game has decided to throw all its toys out the pram, and Alice Madness Returns often just doesn't load. Took me a couple of hours to even get it working last time. So yeah, the flags are at half mast because. So those are the games. Yeah, just changing subjects real quick. Flags are at half mast because the Queen, our Queen, has died in the last week or so, and yeah, kind of sucks. It really does. I mean, there's been a long-running, like, internal meme of, you know, tiny picture of the Queen, and I think it must have been the Goon show. It's like, picture of the Queen? No, I'm trying to give them up. I think it was a comment from the Goon show, because I thought it was Monty Python, but it's not. So that comes up quite often. And it's now weird that we don't have a Queen, we have a King. A lot of us have just known, I mean, I'm okay with the monarchy, I'm fine with it. But a lot of us have known a Queen on the throne all our lives, and now it's a King, and it's just like, yeah, this is weird. We knew she was getting old, but it's still kind of a sad thing to happen. It's a bit of a change at the top, and we'll see how it all pans out. Yeah, it does mean I might need to get a new king ruler with the kings and queens on it, but yeah, it's weird, I think is the way I would describe it. Just very weird. Also, I've just noticed the time. At some point that camera may just reset, because it sort of stops every half an hour. So I might have to switch view or something, just as an aside. Right, well, we're nearly at our destination. So about 50 miles left in the tank. Gonna put some gas in it and then go home and edit all of this. How long does it take to edit one of these? What, the vlog? Oh, the vlog doesn't. So the vlog is one of the weird ones. It's easy enough to edit, but preparing the video files takes a long time, because the 1X, the 360 camera, needs to go into its own software. I need to select a view for it, so I need to select like where it's looking, and then export that as an MP4. The GoPro, that just goes straight into Premiere, but it has its own custom LUT, so own custom lumetri data with own custom curves, because for some reason that comes out really brown, like a very sandy hue to the video, and it's also upside down. So what I do is I turn the GoPro footage the right way up, then I rotate it and crop it slightly because it's actually at an angle, and then I add some lumetri data to make it match the color of the 360 camera. 360 camera does get a slight tweak in brightness and shadows, so it's a little brighter, a little more saturated, a little closer to what I see, basically. So what I see is what you see, what you see is what I see, and vice versa. What do we got going on here? There we go. It's fairly easy to get out here. And then onto the old bypass. Nice. Yeah, and then the audio is just, yeah, drop it into Audacity. Compress it using, I think it's John's compressor, like a very old compressor plugin. And then just use the graphic equalizer to cut off the highs and the lows, so you don't get car rumble. And then that's it. Drop it all into Premiere and just edit it together. You do a clap at the beginning. You go 3, 2, 1, clap, and then that clap is the sync point between all three cameras and the audio. So once you got that, just edit it and output, and then watch it back in the preview window. So I do tend to watch my own videos, but not on YouTube. I actually preview them in Premiere. And when I'm doing that, if it's a good video, I'll keep it. There have been a few vlogs that have never made it because, to be honest, I just didn't like them. I was just like, I don't like this. So I got rid of them. So there is like quality control as well. So if you ever think, he just hits record and never thinks about his videos. No, I do. I think, what would Stanley Tweedle, Steve Courtwright, Stanley Orchard, Tarwanian, Drumbones, yeah, what would you guys think if I uploaded a video and it just didn't make any sense? Yeah, I do think about you guys. So I'm going to leave it there for the time being. We're just going to get some petrol. If you like this video, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, click the little bell if you want notifications, or don't click the little bell if you don't want notifications. You can be subscribed and not ever have notifications, and I tell you what, I'll catch you next time. Whee! It's time to feed the car. What does she drink? Ooh, petrol. Spicy.